This is a Patreon exclusive. So if you're listening to this, that means you decided to make the investment and be a part of the Patreon page. And I greatly appreciate that. Since I am embarking on a new journey, I thought it was best to call in one of my nearest and dearest friends, one of my most trusted advisors. He is a former non-commissioned officer in the United States Army, serving 2 tours. Right, Mac? They got you for 2 tours?
2 tours.
2 tours in Iraq, a master's in social work from Hunter College, but most importantly, one of the most honorable men from my neighborhood, the silent warrior, Mr. Kamau McDonald. K-Mac!
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up? Thanks for having me.
Did I get that right? Kamau means silent warrior?
Yeah, one of my names means silent warrior, and the other one means man of peace, so it's one or the other, Kamoya Erasto.
Do you think that is a fitting description?
Sometimes I do, but I don't fall for horoscopes either. So.
Well, somebody that's known you for a long time, silent warrior, I think that's very fitting. Yeah. You know what I mean? You ain't with all the chit chat, but when it's time to get down to business, you will handle it. Where your family get that from? Like some Jamaican proverb or something?
Don't know. I think the person that named me is like a family friend or something. Like they heard the name from him and they just went with it.
Got you.
Yeah. Think his name is Giffy. He go by Giffy.
Did you ever go to your parents and say, you know what, mom and dad, man, I gotta hand it to you. You guys really nailed that one.
Nah, not really. We never had a discussion about it.
Right.
So
I said this is one of my most trusted advisors, and I mean that. This is the man that helped me with my decision to join the Army.
Yeah.
In fact, Mac, why did you coerce me to join the United States Army?
Yo, I actually remember coercing you away from it. I actually remember that call, and I was like, yo, Will. I remember saying, yo, you a dude that got a good head on your shoulders. I think that you would survive in the military, but try to find another option if you can. I remember that conversation. I promise you. I was in my barracks.
Nah, for real. We had a few conversations, but what got my attention, because Kamau went into the Army like about a year before me. And this dude was coming back to the hood, new car. His throwbacks was more vintage than the rest of us. I'm like, hold on, man. Uncle Sam is treating you mighty well, son. Uncle Sam is treating you well, so I might need to get in on some of this. But for real, though, I did reach out to you. You did try and coerce me away from the military. But I think I know what it really was, because I would do the same once I got in the military. You would tell people how it is, but you don't want to be responsible for anybody.
It was definitely that. I definitely told you the honest to God truth.
Yeah.
Let you know how it was. And then I was just hands off from there. Like I made sure I got in the last. Yo, I don't think, you know what I'm saying? But if you want to do it, I know you got a good head on your shoulders and you got to be disciplined. And I know you had the discipline. So. Yeah. But hold on, before that, I want to give a shout out to my homeboy Kevin Pinkney, and Robert Mills. Robert. Yeah. In the hood, yeah. So Kevin went into the Navy and Robert also went into the Navy. So they kind of, I didn't reach out to them for my decision to join the Army, but I saw them do it. And they had some good head on their shoulder. So I was like, you know what? It's probably something that I could do. So I kind of followed them, even though I went into the Army and they went into the Navy. So, yeah.
For sure. That's a piece to your story that I don't know the answer to. Because for me, I joined the military because I was looking for college money. Mac, you were already in school studying at City Tech when you said, you know what? I'm going into the military. So please tell me. I know you for a long time. I don't really know the answer to this question. Why did you decide to join the military?
Yo, that's a question that doesn't have an answer and has an answer as well. It's like I don't have a clear, salient reason as to why I joined the military. I kind of looked around what was going on in the neighborhood, and I was like, yo, like, okay, so I went to City Tech, right? And what happened was I went to City Tech, registered and everything in August. Had telecommunications as my major. But it was kind of a last minute thing, a last minute major. I just selected it.
Right.
And, I got the scrub classes, the nosebleed classes. I was going to school on Saturdays.
Oh, that's
there was like a building next to the Brooklyn Bridge. Like walk on the left hand side of the Brooklyn Bridge and go up. There's like a building over there. It was like an extra 15-minute walk from the actual City Tech campus.
Right.
It was just a crazy, just nasty, slimy schedule. And then, lo and behold, September 11th happens. Right after I started school, like maybe the second or third weekend or something. And then, the transportation, everybody who was in New York knows that the transportation was just not running at all. And then I just stopped going to school from there.
Right.
And that was it. That's what made me stop going to school. And then afterwards, I just kind of was back to hanging out in the hood. It was just like, yo, you know what? This ain't for me. Like, this is too comfortable. I'm getting too complacent. And I'm not. I was never in a gang or anything like that. So I was like, nah, I'm not even trying to get caught out there with anybody that is my friend that isn't a gang. And then I started worked at Toys R Us with Bo.
Randy Johnson,
Johnson.
The night shift. I know y'all was in there running around, riding bicycles, playing basketball.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Toys R Us was fun. Anywho, so we went in there and but I actually saw the recruiter before maybe June, sometime in the summer before I started working at Toys R Us. And then once I worked Toys R Us seasonal, that was pretty much it. Like I got out. We got let go the first week of January, and my report date to the MEPS was January 21st. That was it. But I just joined because it was I just wanted to avoid what was happening in the hood. The Bloods and the Crips were taking over, yes. And a lot of wannabe gangsters and thugs were running around, and I was just like, I know I got to do something, but hanging out in the streets is not going to be it. So, and of course, that's 50% of the reason why I joined. The other 50% was the benefits that they gave, right. The free college, the loan for the house, free healthcare, the little perks and stuff that you don't really think about when you're 18, 19 years old.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, that is news to me. For one, I didn't know you joined the same year as September 11th.
No, I dropped out of school
right.
when September 11th happened.
But September 11th happened, and then a few months later, you were in the military.
No, September 11th happened 2001. I joined the military like a year and 4 months later, January 2003.
Okay.
So I stopped going to school pretty much literally like September 11th or September 12th because I couldn't get transportation to my classes. And once that was gone, I was like, I'm not going to school anymore. And then that's when I just lulled around the hood for a little bit, not doing anything. And then pretty much by the next June, that summer, I was like, all right, military. Like, I'm not doing this.
Yo, Mac, you crazy, son.
Yeah. That's it.
And people got to understand. I remember one time you had the recruiter bring you home to the neighborhood. Yeah. And I went crazy. I said, yo, Mac, why are you letting these people know where you live? Why are you considering the Army? Because Kamau is a few years older than me, so he's going through this decision while I'm still in high school. I'm wilding, like uncharacteristically. People are like, yo, Mac, son, no, not the military. Don't let them know where you live. Don't go. And what do you know? I ended up joining shortly after graduating high school. But Mac, I didn't know that, son. Yeah. I didn't know that. Most people drop out of school, smoke weed, and that's the end. You dropped out, but you realized you had to do something. Yep. And you chose the military. Why the Army specifically? Because you could have did Marines, you could have did Navy, you could have did the Air Force. Why the Army?
So, damn, I'm putting this out there. All right. So what had happened was, I basically walked into the wrong office first. I was looking for the Air Force. That's literally what happened. Because I'm pretty sure across the nation, when you go to a recruiter's office, it's the Army, Air Force. They're like all right next to each other. Yep. So I just literally stepped into the wrong spot. And I was like, yo, this the Air Force? It was like, nah, this is the Army. And I was like, all right. And as I'm like motioning out. They're like, wait, hold on. So what had happened was, so the Air Force, it doesn't have all the benefits that the Army does. So, I mean, that's how I entered the Army, but the decision was based off of the Air Force. They only did like 70% college reimbursement or something like that back then. I don't know what the standards are now, but I know that it was definitely something around there. They changed the Air Force didn't provide as much as the military did.
Right. Different branches of the military have different recruiting incentives. For me, with the Army, and I'm looking at all of the branches, the Marines, the Air Force, the Army is like the nation's quarterback, I think. When you see somebody standing next to the president, it's usually an Army officer. To me, the Army is a combination of like brain and bronze. The Marines, they're called jarheads. They're like the guys that smash beer cans across the head. Like, that's what I thought of the Marines. And that's always been kind of like their portrayal in mainstream media. The Air Force gets a knock as being soft. So I was like, you know what? I felt like that fit who I was. And also because you were there. And you gave me the real. And I want to tell you, I would have never been able to make that move if I didn't have somebody I trusted on the inside. So I got to definitely thank you for that. You said some other guys from the neighborhood joined the military, and they did. But them dudes was crazy to me. Like, it made sense that they were going in. But when you went, somebody I knew who was patient and kind of like reserved, and you were in there thriving, I'm like, oh, that gave me the confidence to take the leap, son. And I don't know if I ever thought you, thank you for that, but I need to do so today. I would have never, trust me, never. I would have never trusted a recruiter to tell me the truth, a documentary, nothing. I got it from one of my sources, somebody from my neighborhood, son. And it was one of the best decisions I made in my life. You spent 4.5 years or maybe 5.
5 years.
2 tours in Iraq. How would you describe your military tenure?
I learned a lot, man. So, so you got a city boy, never been exposed to anything inside of any kind of corporate America, no real employment history, and you throw him in the military, rigid, very structured, and then on top of that, you're in a whole new part of America that's just not like New York.
Right.
So
you spent a lot of your time in Fort Stewart, Georgia.
Correct.
Rural Georgia. Okay.
Correct. And I mean, I went up through the ranks. I didn't have much influence. I was just just a soldier until my final maybe my final 2 years when I was a sergeant. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, when you're a soldier, you just, I don't know. I don't have like a very descriptive way to put it, because once you're in the military, you kind of know. I was in field artillery. That was my MOS. I was a 13 Fox. So
field artillery for civilians mean they blow up.
Well, we indirectly, because artillery is indirect fire. Right. So we guided the artillery rounds, maybe Navy rounds as well from the boats, and also fixed wing and rotary wing choppers. We will walk them onto targets as need be. That's pretty much what we did. So we were in charge of indirect fires. We did call for fires. When you see the guy in those Army movies on the radio talking about, glory X-ray, this right. is whatever, clearance for fire is grid, whatever, that was me.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about the military? Something that civilians or people on the outside will be surprised by. I know for me, I think people would be surprised to learn that there are many people that are afraid to join the military. There are just as many that are afraid to get out. The military is a safe space. You get your check on the 1st and 15. You know what it takes to get promoted. Like, you get housing, you get benefits. For a lot of people, the military is a comfortable place. That may be crazy to say, but it is.
big military misconception.
And another thing is, I don't think they realize how much fun that we have. How much, well, for me, how much it is kind of like a 9 to 5 after you get out of training and if you're not in a war zone.
So, I think what it is, people need to realize that the military is a microcosm of society. Everything that happens all around America also happens in the military in a more concentrated manner. So I was actually quite surprised, just like how people might be surprised to find out that you have a lot of fun in the military, but also there's a lot of violence that happens in the military that people don't see. So, I mean, the negativity around rapings, fightings, death.
Yeah. And we're not talking about a war zone.
Yeah. This is all in garrison.
This is at the base.
This is in garrison. Of course, not in this current day and age, 2021. Everyone knows that, is more aware that racism exists, all around, everywhere around the world. But at the time, me being so young, 19 years old, joining the military where everything is structured, racism is definitely in the military as well.
Yeah.
And it's very apparent. It's apparently indirect. So, and you will definitely feel it. You'll know you're getting hit with when somebody is asking you for your shaving profile, and they see all the bumps on your face, but they're still asking you for your shaving profile just to get you in trouble. As far as suicides, people killing, murdering their loved ones, the divorce rate, all of that exists, and it's I would say it's more concentrated because the military is just a small subset of the United States population. It's like more concentrated in the military.
I had a guy in my unit that was murdered by a soldier. And you can look this up. There was a Fort Carson killing spree. Some guys in the military, they were murdering civilians in Iraq. And then when they got back to Fort Carson, they were killing people there. And they killed a young man from my squad. They picked him up when he was kind of I want to say not hitchhiking, but he was walking on base. They picked him up. My guy thought, hey, these are soldiers. They are friendly. They picked him up. They took him to an ATM, made him withdraw money, and then shot him in cold blood. All of those are soldiers. Soldiers did that. And that's why sometimes, and I wonder if this is the same with you, I resist being grouped with the veteran community.
Yes.
And sometimes I cringe when I see all the love that's displayed on television. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Timothy McVeigh, the man that bombed the building in Oklahoma City, he's an honorably discharged vet. The DC sniper, John Muhammad, he's an honorably discharged vet. People will be surprised when you see people storming the Capitol and you come to find out, these guys were veterans and this and that. I'm like, yo, dog, I served with the best of the best, but I also done served with some of the scum of the earth too, Mac.
Yeah.
Does that lead you to kind of be resistant at times? Or when they talk about veteran, maybe I'll just slide to the side and stand on this one.
Listen, I do not go out there with a veteran patch all over everything that I wear. Outside of some clothing, some army fatigue pants maybe, but I don't really. I'll stand up for the veteran community behind the scenes, donate a little something, but you're not gonna make me the poster boy when I done seen what I done seen and everything. Right. Some of the things that I seen was, okay, so before we deployed, people was getting hit off of their motorcycles, and up to deployment, we had maybe 5 soldiers that died from riding their bicycles, so much so that we had to stop all of the training for deployment, and everyone had to go to a motorcycle class of some sort. And I also remember a unit that we recently joined. This guy, he definitely murdered his entire family. And drug dealers. There was a drug dealer in my platoon. Shout out to Fix and Smiley and Hunt.
You shouting out the drug dealers?
Yeah. Because really what they did, they really, at that point, they put me on too, to let me, they more opened my eyes to what's really going on. I mean, people smoking crack.
Yeah.
That's in high up there in the ranks, you know. And,
Mac, you said it. It's a microcosm. Like
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of kids from all over the country trying to figure something out. So it can get crazy.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I resisted. Like, yo, I'm not a vet. When somebody says, yo, Will, you're disciplined. Oh, that must come from the military. I'm like, yeah, yo, hold on. Don't throw that on me, right? But recently, I've been trying to examine what impact did the military have on the man that I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really try to get to the bottom of that. So, Mac, I ask you.
I wake up early all the time, no matter what. So I'm up before the garbage trucks pick up the garbage. By default, I can never sleep beyond 7:30 a.m. Only on very rare occasions, unless I came back home at like 5:30 in the morning.
What about your character and the way you conduct yourselves, and maybe some of your values and more? Like, how did the military shape that? I'll tell a quick story. When you join the military, of course, you got to be like on processed and stuff, and that takes place at Fort Hamilton, a base right here in Brooklyn. And you go see different people. They ask you questions, medical history, family history. And I sit down with this one dude that's in the military. He asked me, yo, what's your father's name? So I go on this whole spiel. Yo, man, I don't really know my pops like that. Like, I ain't really rock with him, you know what I mean? Like, and the guy's just watching me go on and go on. And then when I finally stop, he says, yo, what's your father's name? Like, I ain't ask you all that extra stuff, right? I ain't ask you about your feelings and what's his name? And I thought to myself, man, this dude is an asshole. This dude is rude. But by the time my military career was done, I transformed into that. So, man, like, I don't want to hear your sob story. I don't want to hear anything subjective. I asked you an objective question. Give me the answer.
Yeah. So one thing about me is a lot of people complain about stuff that's not an issue. And, like, I don't know. If you can't wake up in the morning and get dressed and be somewhere at a certain time, and you can't plan for that, there's no way I can help you. I don't know. Like, that's one thing about me. Like, I could, if anything, I'm gonna wake up. You know, I'm gonna wake up on time. Yeah. I'm not gonna wake up late. I don't complain. Yeah. I mean, we all have complaints, but like some of the things that I see, I just, you know, execute.
Mac, that is a big thing for me too. Mm-hmm. Like, the military taught me to push through. We got to accomplish the mission no matter what. Like, you accomplish the mission or you die. That's one thing I got from the military. In training, they used to say, you're going to do things one or two ways. Either you're going to do it right or you're going to do it again. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no contingency plan. That's something I got from the military. Selling out to the mission. By any means, no matter what hurdles are there or not there, that's something I definitely got from the military. Another piece is that I learned about teamwork. Mm-hmm. And not just, how to work in a team, but I never played high school basketball because I may not like the guys. I ain't want to go to practice, so I just went home. You know what I'm saying? In the military, there's no going home. Like, you have to figure it out.
Got to endure.
You got to endure, and you have to figure it out by any means. So that's something that I carried, and that enabled me to be able to play college basketball. Even if I ain't like my coaches, my teammates, like, yo, it taught me to thug it out.
Yep. Endurance.
Last week, they said that U.S. troops will be withdrawing from Afghanistan. How do you, Mac, the former sergeant, deployed to Iraq 2 times, like, how do you receive that news? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you read that headline?
Best decision Joe Biden has done as president thus far.
Really?
Best. For me, personally.
First off, I think those negotiations started with Trump.
Correct. But it took Biden to execute.
And secondly, so you just think blanket, like off the rip, like that was the best decision. I'll tell you what comes to mind for me first. Is the mission complete? Like, I think it's always, people always celebrate, it's time to bring the troops home. But is the mission complete, Mac?
What was the mission?
That I don't know. But I'm just telling you, that's what comes to my mind first. It's not, oh, glory, 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 the soldiers are coming home. Because if we didn't complete the mission, the people that died is that in vain. Like, that's just the first thing that comes to mind. And not even talking about the Afghans specifically, I wonder how often civilians think about the fact that war is necessary. And you may not agree with me on that. I'll let you answer. But when I'm sitting down on a Sunday afternoon, I'm with my family and I'm enjoying my food and I'm watching football, I think to myself, yo, this is possible because there's some crazy motherfucker willing to jump out of a plane and slice somebody's throat at a moment's notice. And I just wonder, how often do civilians think of that? So whether you agree with this conflict or not, you do understand that there's got to be war at some point.
I mean, yeah, the food that you eat, somebody's got to cut up that meat. So, of course, war is definitely something that happens. It might be human nature. People, people go back and forth on that, whether it's human nature or not. But you do need those people to fight that war. If there's a conflict, you need somebody to go in there and handle it. So,
how often you think civilians think about that? Because I don't think they appreciate it. I don't think they appreciate that at all. That there's actually some people that are a group of organized people that will come together to make sure that you still maintain those freedoms. I don't think so. I don't think they realize it at all. That's a privileged place to be.
Very, 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 very.
I look at people, like, you go back to what you're saying. Sometimes people complain about this and that. Like, yo, somebody's paying the price for you to be here and enjoy this. And even if you don't believe in any specific conflict, that's why I never really kind of dove into the reasoning for Iraq. Maybe that's training as a soldier. Like, we don't, that ain't our duty to be the who, what, when, where, why here. It's just to go execute.
With the legs.
Yeah. So we do that, and I understand it's necessary. So even if I don't believe in this conflict, when a conflict does arise, I can sit back in my rocket chair and say, yo, them boys better go fight that.
Exactly. And come back home, all limbs attached, please. Life and limbs attached.
Speaking of that, just selling out to the mission and respecting the job, respecting the position of individuals, even if you don't like them. That's what we were taught in the military. So when I seen people getting all up in arms about Trump, I gave it a shoulder shrug, Mac. I could never really get animated about him because that's the commander-in-chief.
And also, as I said earlier, being raised in New York, you're used to one life. You're used to the East Coast lifestyle. Mm-hmm. When you go to the rest of the United States, totally different. Totally different. New York and California are probably one and the same. But all the states in between those two states, the other 48, totally different. Mm-hmm. So when Trump came about, I was one of the first people to say that man's going to be president. Yeah. No doubt in my mind.
Why'd you think that? Oh, because he had the rural America. And
his message was felt by roughly everybody.
What message was that?
The racist undertones in his messaging. That's a deep subject. Trump had a lot of racism in his built into his messaging. He also put batteries in a lot of citizens' backs to make them think that, of course, America is the greatest and everything. And Make America Great Again was just, pretty much bringing back America to the way it was before, Martin Luther King and, civil rights and all of that stuff. That's pretty much that was pretty much the undertones to his message. That's what was apparent by me and many others. I mean, this is,
Right.
ad nauseum.
It would bother me that people, though, whether Trump is a racist, cool. Yeah. It would bother me when Black America would act as if he was the only enemy, he was the only hurdle to their salvation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That bothered me, Mac. Mm-hmm. And I don't see too many people on TV, especially Black folks, turning to the people and saying, yo, the enemy is alive and well, and the solution is we gotta be better as people. I considered you a very accomplished individual, somebody that has no problem lacing up their boots, putting that hard hat on and going to work. And I don't really see too much of that from the Black community. How fair is that assessment?
Just elaborate on that. What you mean?
Like there's too much victimhood going on.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree with you on that.
To act like Trump is our only issue, that's a problem, son. You absolving yourself of all of your responsibilities and what you need to do to help change your life.
Correct.
And that message is infantilizing our people, man, and making them victims and soft and timid.
Yeah.
Dog, you gotta go to work.
Yeah.
You gotta sacrifice. Another thing I learned from the military: delayed gratification. You can't have everything you want when you want it.
Nah.
You can't.
I learned that even before the military. So
people thinking like, oh, it's racist because I can't go to this restaurant or that. Yo, dog, you gotta work. You want a restaurant, go build it. Like I'm done begging folks for this.
Yeah.
I'm turning to my people now. That's what I try to do to this podcast. I try to turn to my people and remind them of all the power and strength that they have. Will it be easy?
No, never is.
Is it going to take some time?
Yes, it will. Got to dedicate that time too.
But it can be done. It can be done, man. Mac, thanks for taking me down memory lane with the military stuff. What else I want to talk to you about? Vaccine mandates in New York City. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to know if you've been vaxxed or not. That's not the conversation I want to have right now. Mm-hmm. Mac, how do you feel about businesses, the government mandating that their workers stick a needle in themselves, get vaccinated? It's the mandate for me, Mac. Whether somebody wants to get vaccinated or not, that should be a personal issue. They trying to mandate if we go in, that you have a vaccine if you go to watch the New York Knicks play. Mac, I'm scared.
Slippery slope, man. They're opening Pandora's box. That's what they're doing. Because now it's if looking at that argument, if you expand it a little bit, right? What's to stop it? Okay, they also I heard something about the insurance companies too. They might, like Delta workers, they might be charged a little bit extra on their insurance if they're not vaccinated. So taking that, expanding on it, what's to stop the insurance companies from saying like, hey, if you're, overweight, or if you have these specific gene markers or something.
Yeah.
What's to stop them from saying we're going to charge you extra? Even though they kind of do so now. But I mean, they could take this vaccination thing, the mandate for it, and they could expand it in so many ways that people don't realize. I'm totally not for them mandating people to be vaccinated. If anything, stick the swab up their nose every week, but don't mandate them, say that they have to. I think that's a little off, personally.
So where's the outrage? Where's the outrage, Mac?
I mean, there's a lot of people that's figuring out where they're gonna go and work. Actually, my electrician is talking about going down to Florida, but
this is very dangerous. This is not even about whether you think the vaccine is good or not.
Yeah.
Nah, dog. I'm talking to a military vet. Like, this is democracy we was fighting for. This ain't it.
The land of the free.
Straight up, son.
You're supposed to have a choice in this matter.
Like, to me, and you tell me if I'm crazy, this is the equivalent of you go into a nightclub and they want to check and see if everybody is clean of STDs or something.
Yeah, exactly.
This is nuts.
I see what you're saying.
This is absolutely nuts, and I'm mad there's not enough outrage. People just falling in line. Well, let's do it because I want to go on vacation. Like, this is really scary. This is the step to totalitarianism or authoritarianism.
Yeah.
Like, Mac, this is martial law.
It is. It is. It definitely is. Definitely is.
And I was looking at SUNY, the State Universities of New York. I was seeing what their mandates are because I'm an adjunct professor at Farmingdale. And all of the students have to get vaccinated. But the teachers don't because their union is pushing back.
Mm.
Oh, so this is a power thing. So you're going to make them students do it because they don't have any power? I got a problem with that. That ain't what this country's supposed to be about. Like in the bottom of the article, oh, the union, they won't allow it, so teachers don't have to be vaxxed. Man,
Yeah.
where's the leaders, man?
Being shushed. What was? I mean, man, society. There's so much weight being pushed on everybody's shoulder. Everybody's just trying to get by with the little that they got. Mm-hmm. It's like, in my opinion, it's like people they don't have it to turn around and try to resist at every second. There's so many fronts to fight on it's just so difficult. To get everybody in a room unified on one idea is difficult enough. Because let's say that you're like, okay, you're gonna join the fight to try to get everybody vaccinated. All right, and everybody's like, yeah, okay, all right, we'll do that. But then turn around, now you're like, okay, so now I'm gonna make it mandatory. Now everybody, starts to break off, and the split is already made. So I mean, to try to get everybody united under one idea is very difficult, because once the details start coming out, that's when everybody starts to split. So I mean, that's just a reflection of society where, if you don't have enough people fighting for you on your behalf, the powers that be, then you're just gonna get rolled over. That's how society is now.
And Mac, my heart goes out to these people who have to make a decision regarding their job. Mm-hmm. I know people that are teachers, that work for the government, who do not want to take the vaccine.
Been employed for 2 decades, 15 years, 10 years. Great employee.
Like, tears have been shed by these people. This is a big decision.
Yep.
My heart goes out to them.
Yep.
And I wish there was something I could do.
The mandates are crazy. Can't do that.
But the only thing I would say to people out there, the war against the machine started a long time ago.
Very long time ago.
My man Fenton always joked with me. He said, yo, Will, you like Tommy from Martin. I say, why? He said, because you ain't got no job. But what you see is a man that's maneuvering, trying to get the system off its back. What you see is a runaway slave, son. And my girl Nicole Howard always be like, yo, well, everybody think they're a businessman now. Like, I ain't some crazy businessman, but I'm trying to build something out of necessity. This ain't even a luxury anymore. I need to get away from that place. From them telling me what to do, from them trying to make me tap dance. And to all of those people out there, I would just say at some point you have to make a step towards independence. If you work 40 hours a week, and then the minute you stop working, you in there nightclubs, you in there restaurants, and you got to go to somebody's birthday party. Like, when do you have time to devise a plan to get that system off your back? That's all I could share. Because this is vaccines now. Who knows what's coming next? So that's why when you see me, I'm with mine. With my man who's building his little AAU program. I'm trying to help my people build their establishment so we don't need anything else. I'm trying to get to a point, Mac, where I ain't got to go outside. My community, my podcast guests, my brothers, basketball here, da-da-da-da. Mac, it's scary out there, man, and my heart goes out to them people. As for me, on the record, vaccine, hell no. Hell no. I was watching a clip the other day. They showed all of these politicians, Cuomo included. They would talk about a vaccine that was developed under Trump. Oh, we don't know if we can trust it.
That's the media.
Oh, Mac, the same scientists are in place. Fauci and all these people are in place that were under Trump are now in place now. Now we supposed to trust it? And if you do or not, that's your prerogative. I don't, and that should be my prerogative. Nick, don't play your little political games with me. I'm going to take my chances with my immune system. This is crazy, Mac.
Yeah. Yeah. The government just botched the rollout of this big time. Many facets of the government has been dishonest with people. And I'm not saying that in a way to spread, to spread in some kind of misinformation.
Right.
But I mean, in the beginning, I remember them saying that, oh, you don't need masks to go outside.
I remember that. Dr. Oz and my man, Dr. Drew, you don't need masks. Go ahead, Mac.
Yep. They said that you don't need masks to go outside. Come to find out, they were lying because they probably didn't want to short, the healthcare workers, right. Exactly, the supply chain of masks. Why'd you have to lie for?
Yeah.
What's so difficult in saying, listen, go out, get some masks, and in in our neighborhood, you got some old school mothers went under seamstress, went under sewing machine. We all know somebody who went into business and started making their own cloth masks.
For sure.
So I mean, they could have just done that from the very beginning. They've botched this from the very beginning. They could have ameliorated doubt. They could have ameliorated much more doubt if they had been honest from the get-go about everything that they got about the virus. From the virus's origin, now we're finding out that Fauci has, like a financial, or maybe not financial, but some kind of dealings with the place where the virus might have came from originally. Right. I mean, it's just all topsy-turvy. And the one thing I'm glad about this virus for bringing, I want to see more people being skeptical and critical of the media that they digest. That they digest. That's one thing. That's
one thing that should have come out of this, but it hasn't.
Nope.
My people are lulled to sleep.
Yep.
Yo, Mac, this is dangerous. My young niece told me the other day she didn't want to get the vaccine. People's kids, they got to decide if they sending them back to school. And this is not even about the safety of the vax. Or do what you fucking want to do. But I should be allowed to do what I want to do. And I'm not trusting that media machine. I'm not trusting Fauci. I'll take my chances right here.
And you should be free to do that.
Absolutely. That's the democracy we were fighting for. That's why I went and got my sergeant.
Exactly. Exactly. We went over there to fight for the freedom of this land, of this country.
That's it.
And I don't like seeing that those freedoms are being trampled on. And, whatever. I don't want to get too deep.
Yeah,
I don't want to get too deep.
But you know what? The machine is going to be what the machine is going to be. My issue is honestly with my people.
Yeah, of course.
Sleep. Mac just said it. The pandemic should have taught you to be wary of everything they giving you. And they're not. And that's disappointing, man. That is disappointing. What else I got for you, Mac? I want to talk about some fun stuff, man. That was a little heavy there. Military, vaccines. You my go-to guy. You, Fenton. You my go-to guy. Oh, before we get into that, versus music.
Yo.
The versus battle.
Yo.
The Locks, D Block versus Cameron and Dipset. Mac, this is the music we grew up on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It was a few weeks ago. I think the sentiments for many and everybody is that the Locks dominated Dipset. For you, what was your biggest takeaway from the contest?
Yo, hone your craft. Hone your craft, okay? Hone your craft, because to see Jadakiss, Styles, and Sheik up there finishing each other's lyrics, and I've been peeped that.
Yeah.
When one lost breath, the other one stepped up and completed the bar. Man.
That's a big takeaway, and I'm right in line with you. Jadakiss made me appreciate something that I didn't even know was a thing. The art of being an MC.
Yes.
And I was explaining that to somebody. MC stands for Masters of Ceremony.
Yes.
And Jadakiss kept yelling, yo, they playing their fucking Spotify track with the lyrics, and every now and again
you could have stayed in your car and listened to that. Listen to Apple Music in your car.
Jadakiss took that microphone and was a wordsmith, put on a show. And I really was sitting back like, wow, this is phenomenal, especially as I try to do these podcasts and I trip over my tongue. And this man went through his catalog flawlessly. He made me appreciate what it is to be an MC. I didn't even know that was a thing until he showed me. He made me understand why, that's why I would pay money for a concert, to see that. Because I ain't really a concert goer. I got your music in my phone. Why would I go pay to see you? Jadakiss showed me. Yo, dog, come get this show. Come watch an MC do what he do. And Dipset was mighty disappointing. You know, Cam kind of had that attitude from the beginning. He posted something on social media. Yo, Swiss Beats asked him, how come you're not posting about the concert?
Because you ain't send the money yet.
Because he ain't send the money yet. It was all about a bag. And Cam and them got embarrassed. Now, Mac, for you and I don't think that changes who Cam and them are.
Nah.
Cam been a beast forever.
Nah.
Cam been that dude forever, son. I don't know if you guys know, him and Jay-Z been taking shots at each other for years. And Jay-Z was never able to kind of get Cam. I remember when Jay-Z did that Summer Jam concert and he put Prodigy on the screen in a Michael Jackson outfit. He was looking for some material on Cameron.
Couldn't find it.
And Cam was like, nah, chill, son. I'm a G. My resume's intact. So for us, Cam remains the same. But I don't know if that's the same for the rest of the country.
That's true.
Like his aura, his mystique, I think it took a hit that day. And Mac, that hurts me.
I remember when you told me that Cam is New York swag rapper. Yo, even when you sent that text, I was like, And then over time, I was like, absolutely correct. That was a correct assessment of what Cameron is. New York swag rapper. J.
Cole recently put out an album, before the verses, of course, and Cameron's on the first track. Did you hear it?
Actually, I heard the first track. You just reminded me. I did listen to the first track, but I didn't listen to the rest of the album.
And Cam is not even rapping. He just talking that talk.
Yeah.
The way he always does. And I remember that's one of my favorite tracks. If J. Cole dropped an album after the verses, I don't think he goes to get Cam. And that saddens me that massacre took place on the world stage, and I hope they can recover. Mac, you follow him on social media. What's kind of been the follow-up been like? Like, Cam still the same personality? Like, what happened?
Yeah. Oh, he's still the same.
Did he address it? Did he acknowledge that they got slayed?
Actually, yeah. In his latest posts with Brandy, Brandy was in a pink mink singing the lyrics. I get the pewters putin. And then, it was just like a little funny skit with him and Brandy. So he acknowledged it. Even right directly after the verses, I believe within 24 hours, he posted the picture that I think that French dude that came out like I'll have to show it to you to explain. But he's totally unaffected by it. He's totally unaffected. I'm pretty sure he's still gonna get bookings. I mean, nowadays all publicity is good publicity anyway. Yeah. I'm sure if anybody could flip that into a positive, it's gonna be Cam.
It's gonna be Cam. I want to ask you about some of this Marvel stuff. Mm-hmm. Marvel movies, Marvel comics. Because, Mac, I can't keep up. It's like a new movie every other week. What's the last one you watched? Did you watch Black Widow?
Yeah, I saw Black Widow. Me and my homeboy saw it.
You and Fan, you guys were always on top of things. Do you remember the very first time, like when Marvel first came out? The movies, like when our Saturday morning cartoons transferred to the movie scene, because it was special back then. It's not like a new blockbuster every other week the way Marvel's doing. That's why I can't keep up. Do you remember going to the movies to see kind of like that first time a movie made it to the screen? Because I do.
I definitely do remember. Right now in this moment, I can't remember seeing any of the Batman movies in the theater. But one movie I do remember, sorry to cut you off, is Spawn. I remember when I went to see Spawn right after the HBO series. Yeah. And they dropped the movie and I went to go see that at what was that theater in Flatbush that they closed down? It was Mad Ghetto in there.
Yeah, Mad Ghetto.
Yeah.
Mad Ghetto.
I remember seeing that in there. And Mortal Kombat, of course. I went to see that with Fent and Fent actually. Canarsie Theaters, I think, before they closed that down.
Same with me. And I was going back to the first time, like, we had a real Marvel blockbuster. It was special. It's not the case today because there's so many.
Which one was it?
Spider-Man.
2002.
May 3rd. It was a Friday. Yo, Mac, we grew up on these Saturday morning cartoons, and now it's transitioning to a live action flick.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that feeling?
Yes.
It was a Friday after school. Fenton came to my crib. Like, we was fiending. It's one of these times we not waiting for anybody else. I don't know where Fat Cat's at. I don't know. Me and Fent made the 10-block walk to Avenue L movie theater, Canarsie movie theaters. Yeah. Right. We wasn't waiting for anybody. We didn't care where the girls at. We went to see our Saturday morning cartoon come to life. And it was amazing to see. Like, yo, dog, it made you kind of like be a kid and believe in miracles, son. Like, wow, you could bring animated stuff to life. That was phenomenal. At the theater, the whole hood ended up being in there. We walked home 30 deep. Cop pulled us over. It was a glorious night. But, like, that's the Marvel experience I miss. So what's going on? They got this Black Widow. They giving movies to D-list guys like Loki. Like, it's too much, Mac.
It is overload. It is overload.
What's special? What's good? What's coming up next? Oh, I saw they had a Spider-Man trailer for a new flick. Did you catch it? What it looked like?
I'm not even watching. I don't even watch trailers anymore. I just want to be totally surprised once I step in the theater.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is information overload. Every D-list character has a movie now.
Loki?
I kind of don't knock it. I kind of don't knock it because it's still content that you want to see.
Right.
But it's still like, God damn, man. Like,
son, these
so
used
much.
to be epic.
This was special. These were special occasions. These were special occasion movies. And now they're just, you know what? Who am I to complain? Because when we were kids, we wanted to see a Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
We wanted to see an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
We wanted to see Apocalypse. That was a disappointing movie, by the way. But we wanted to see Apocalypse. We wanted to see all these movies.
We did.
And now, you know, I got stock in Disney. It's cool. Do your thing.
But Loki, when I saw that, where's he from? The Thor series.
Yeah.
Loki?
Yeah.
Nigga's like a D-list character, son.
Trickster. Yeah.
He get his own show. It's way too much. I haven't seen a Marvel flick in years. My little nieces are into it. And she tried to tell me that Iron Man died in the movie. I said, baby girl, I hate to tell you, these characters never die.
They'll find a way to spin them back.
Did Iron Man die? It's complicated, man.
First of all, I don't think so because they'll find a way to bring them back.
Right.
You know, bring them back from another timeline. And, you know, the multiverse is about to open up. So, you know, they'll just get a Robert Downey Jr. from another multiverse and he'll come into this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's like Earth 66 Prime and all this stuff. They'll figure out a way to bring them back if they need to. If they could write them into the script and make it make sense, they'll bring them back. Even if it's just for the sake of flashbacks, you'll see them in the movie.
You'll see him. Who is your favorite Marvel character?
I like Nightcrawler. X-Men 2.
Nightcrawler was dope. Was dope.
The opening scene with Nightcrawler when he beat up everybody in that office, teleporting all around. Nasty.
Son, this dude remember movies and scenes.
That was the best scene in the whole movie to me. Yeah. The opening scene.
Last piece on Marvel. What does Marvel do with the Black Panther series character?
Yeah, that's.
I've never seen the movie. If you follow my podcast, you know I still haven't seen the movie. White people don't give me my heroes, but I know what it means to the community and stuff. And rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. He passed on. What happened? That's a big franchise. What do you do?
Find another black actor.
That black actor, no matter who it is going to be set up to fail. Can you go on? Can you just sell to the public, yo, here's a new Black Panther?
I think some, the internet rumors and stuff. I mean, like the only one that could step up to the plate is going to be Michael B. Jordan.
to play Black Panther
Yeah.
after being an enemy?
Yes.
Nah, Mac, you can't pull that
First
off.
of all, anything that's written well enough will work. Okay, that's just how Hollywood is. But I'm just saying, to step up to the mantle, the person that would be most suited to step up to the mantle, if they wrote it well enough, will be Killmonger. Think about it. The defected son that was thrown away came back to be Black Panther, was essentially beat up, and he couldn't get to be Black Panther. But now, because we need him, he's going to step up. That would be dope.
I mean, you know better than I. As a fan, you would accept that?
I would accept it.
Okay.
Anything that's written well enough could be accepted. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Well, for all movies, if once the script is there, it's gonna be accepted.
All right. K-Mac has spoken.
In my opinion, K-Mac's opinion. Yo, DC needs to step their game up. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say about DC. Y'all need to figure it out.
Who's DC's lineup? Batman? Who's Ryan
Wonder
Reynolds?
Woman.
Wonder Woman. Ryan Reynolds' character.
Ryan Reynolds was the Green Lantern.
Not Green Lantern.
Was it?
Damn,
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool in Marvel.
Yes. That's
but
DC.
in DC, he was Green Lantern.
Okay.
That movie was trash. And yeah, we're not gonna mention that movie. I'm a DC fan more than Marvel, personally. And we've seen the potential of what DC could be through the Batman trilogy. The nice, dark, gritty, psychological, thrillers. That's more of what I'm into. I'm not so much into the crazy superpowers, no matter what we're gonna win, because we have the superpowers. I need to see a little bit of the scene in the Dark Knight with the two boats full of prison. One boat was with the prisoners and the other was the civilians who's gonna blow each other up.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. I live for that.
People having to make decisions.
Yeah.
Moral judgments.
Yeah. Dark Knight was dope.
Mac, you recently bought a house.
All right. So I don't take credit for things that ain't mine. My father bought the house.
Okay.
I'm doing money, of course. So, but yes, my family together, we definitely bought a house.
How was that ordeal? Because you were a tenant for a long time in this property, and then you kind of did a switcheroo and said, "It's ours now."
So,
what's it been like?
It's been rough because we've been repairing things. Even up until last night, I was up until like 3:00 in the morning. We've been repairing things. Buying a house is so expensive. I mean, it's going through getting it inspected. Home Depot is gonna be your friend. If you become a homeowner, you're gonna be up in Home Depot at least twice a month, picking up stuff, and that's just what it is. Whether it's a light switch, a light bulb, definitely, it's just very expensive. My process through getting the house though. First of all, I want to shout out the Johnson family that sold us the house. They didn't have to. Once you put your house up on the market, even before you have money, you gotta hope that the sellers are willing to sell it to you. It's their property. You could come there with $3 million. If they don't want to sell it to you, they're not going to sell it to you. So shout out to them for even giving us the opportunity to buy the house. And once they selected us, it was just, downhill from there. Getting your bank account checked like every month to make sure that your income is stable. Just that kind of, it's a really arduous process. But no matter what, my personal thing is, make sure you have that money. Make sure you have that money, especially here in New York. I would suggest that you navigate. You don't look at the market until you have like at least 30,000 for everywhere around the country. And it's kind of messed up because people are getting outbidded on houses, and that's a whole nother subject because now corporations are actually bidding on houses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you have to fare up against the corporation.
They trying to find all types of ways to own you.
Yep.
Do you now have to pay to all of these housing laws? Do you see what's going on with the eviction moratorium?
Yes. I think they just lifted it, right? They lifted it within the last 4 days.
Yes.
Yeah. But we don't have tenants yet, so we're not even, that doesn't pertain to us.
And I'm watching this, and eviction moratorium, Joe Biden wants renters to be able to stay put even though they can't pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely understand that. The pandemic hit a lot of people hard. They were without jobs. Like, if it were not for that, a lot of people would have been on the street.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side of that, you have landlords who are counting on the income from their renters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I can understand that too. And I see people out in the street and they trying to make it as simple as rich versus poor, good versus evil. Like, there's some homeowners who ain't that rich. They need that income, i.e. my grandfather. So I'm sitting back and I'm watching both sides. And I just wonder if people understand that, like, things are not so simple. That's it. Like, there's no right or wrong. It just ain't that simple.
When it comes to matters of the government and politicians, there's a lot of nuance. People have to be able to see things from both sides.
Absolutely.
Don't forget that there is so much nuance that goes on when you start crafting these laws, when you have to, creating policies.
But they try to make it into a nice little slogan, a nice, concise political slogan.
What slogan is that?
I'm just saying in period, like, any politician like, oh, no, we're going to keep the renters in. Mm-hmm. And the other politician, no, we're going to kick them out. Like, dog, that ain't really helping anybody. Mm-hmm. These little simple selling, how would I describe it? Like taglines. It's nuanced, like you said.
I personally believe that we shouldn't be fighting amongst ourselves for this. I think that the government should definitely be stepping in. I think the simplest thing to do is allow the homeowners to either pay a super minimum amount, whatever that might be, I don't know, whatever, that, or for the years or the months that they're not able to pay, you just tack that on to the end of their 30-year mortgage. So if for the last year you haven't been able to pay your mortgage or pay your city taxes or whatever, you tack that on to the end of your 30-year mortgage plan. Simple. Does that sound fair or no? What do you think?
I hear you.
And because that'll lessen us fighting, you as the renter and me as the landlord, and the government is taking care of you as the landlord. Right. They're saying, like, look, for the next 15 months, if you could pay your mortgage, pay it. But pretty much you're allowed to not pay mortgage for 15 months. And trust me, the people who gave you your mortgage, they could afford it. They're not gonna collapse. For sure. They're not gonna collapse because you didn't. Everybody doesn't give them a year's worth of mortgage. They're gonna be all right.
Yo, Mac, my solution to anything now, I'm wary of outsiders, period. The government, like, as I go through my history, I realize F them all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build my own community, my own little civilization.
Yeah.
If I'm renting, and this is not, everybody can't do this, but what I'm telling you what my goal is. I'm trying to create a world where I just have to go to my people for the things that I need. You know, if you're renting from your people, you guys could be able to work it out. If it's really somebody that you rock with, instead of a tenant that's trying to get over on you. Now, again, in every situation, you can't do this. I'm telling you what the goal is. And it's not even black and white. It's really, when I say my community, I'm literally talking about my people.
Yeah.
I'm done with the talking about what the government gonna do or I'm turning to my people and like, what y'all want to do? We need a restaurant. Who I gotta help financially back so that kid could get that restaurant up and running? Who I gotta help with the studio? Who I gotta help with the nail salon? Who I gotta help with the whatever? I really just want to deal with mine and mine only. That's it, Mac. That's all I got, man. Right. Let's shout out some Joes, man. Shout out to my man Joseph C. Jones. Shout out to my man Jimmy Durden, saved my life in Iraq. Shout out to my man Chad Holcomb, saved my life when I was on extra duty at Fort Carson. Shout out to my man Jose Villamon. Who else we got? Ronnie Dean Foxwell, my white boy from Maryland. some real relationships, camaraderie in the military, son.
Oh, definitely. I
Some real shit.
want to make this clear too, because I was actually going to interject when we were talking about my experience. With all the negativity that I faced in the military, even by the people who might have brought negativity onto me, because of that camaraderie, best believe if them motherfuckers call me right now because they in a jam, I'm helping them out. That's it. And also, shout out to, I don't know what his rank is now. I think he was First Sergeant campaigning. Shout out to Sergeant First Class Berger. Shout out to Major Captain Colonel Humphrey, wherever he's at. Shout out to Captain Fraley, Major, whatever your rank is at right now. Shout out to Fraley. My boy William Aubrey. Shout out to you. Another very level-headed soldier. My boy David DeWalt, of course, me and him still keep in contact. Izzy Irizarry, troublemaker. Shout out to him. Oh, how could I even forget Sergeant Ellington, my boy, put me in supply, had me around them weapons during my last deployment for at least half the deployment. Shout out to him. For all the rest of y'all that I missed, hit me up.
Shout out to Sergeant Kamau McDonald, son. Yo, Mac, I swear to God, if you didn't take that leap, I would have never went, man. Shout out to you for being fearless. Thank you for doing this. I know you don't come out too much. That's it, man. WBH Radio. I'm William Holly. We out.